All right, hey everybody, Jared JNap here for episode 9 of my stream series, That Time I. This is going to be a fun one. I don't think it's going to be the longest one, but it was definitely something that just kind of thought of recently. I was looking at the memes thread for something, and U-3P0 popped into my head when going through that, and I remembered a fun game involving him. So thought it would be a good, interesting game to look back and review. We'll get into that in a minute. This is a Prophet versus Court matchup, but just two quick plugs. Two things going on in the community right now that are pretty exciting. One, as I go to the homepage here, the retro event is coming up. So it's the 2021 retro event, but it's going to be simulating the meta from like the middle of 2000, so when Death Star 2 first came out. So if you haven't signed up yet and you're interested in that, you can just go to the homepage and see this link. And this will, send you to a couple different other places that are helpful for everything. I encourage you to sign up. We're at about 45 people already. And also it's going to be a lot of fun. Prizes are pretty sweet. And it's just going to be a good change up to what we're used to. So let me just plug that as I am the organizer of it. And I thought I would like to do that. Secondly, and these are, I would say, 99% solid, but just today, the donation program was updated. We're about 3 months into the year. I know a couple people have been asking, like, hey, when can we start doing stuff for 2021? The 2020 year wrapped up a little while ago. So a lot of the details have, been hashed out. I've been working with Scott and Brian and James on the donations team, and then also getting feedback from the rest of the marketing team as well. So we've fine-tuned this, and I think there's a lot of really new and exciting items this year. So I encourage everyone to check this out. I need to fine tune a couple things, like this picture should appear, but if you go to some of these tiers, there's a lot of items, and there's a bunch of items that are new versus prior years. There's some that are pretty cool and are same as prior years, but try to proactively address some questions here. But I would say check this out. It's also on the forums, in the announcements forum. I check that out. It's a pretty cool opportunity, and the main gist of it is community, it's a not-for-profit, the Players Committee raised some money to put towards all the different initiatives and efforts that the organization does. And in thanks for people doing that, there's some pretty cool incentives or rewards that are kicked back to people that, hopefully people find pretty helpful and useful. So those are two plugs. We'll get into this game now. This is versus jokerking. I mentioned on one of my other streams, I've played against jokerking or Chris over 70 times in my 4 years back in the game. The only person I've played more is Stubley. I would say of those 70 games, maybe 45 have been Prophet versus Court. So this is no different. This game, for some context, was actually the very first game of online play week of 2020. So it was about early July. So a few cards have changed since then. But it was like the very first game I played. And that's going to be coming up this year, early April. So I'll plug that as well. So there's more details will come out on that. There's always a couple exclusive holo foils that are given out for participating in that event. You just take a screenshot. You say, hey, I had this couple games. This happened. And the PC, rewards, people playing the game. So, and it's never been easier to play the game with Jemp. So that was the context of this. This is a Prophet versus Court matchup. A lot of times I'll see people on Facebook or, wherever say, hey, I'm looking for some decks that I can play with my buddy that match up well, that are kind of themed. And Prophet and Court are some of the ones that come to mind first. This is a matchup that's evolved over time. I think probably he probably has the upper hand versus me, but there's definitely a lot of games that are pretty even. I think one of the big turning points was set 11, when virtual set 11, when Court got a lot of helpers, Utaguta Solo and Twilight Advisor V. Those are two cards that come to mind because they help get out characters. They just have a lot of utility. Get out characters, get out activation, improve the destiny of the deck. So really help Court out. So this is the Prophet I've more or less played for a long time now. I tweak it here and there. But it's mostly mains. Nothing too gimmicky with it. Not like Space Repeaters or maybe we'll see some Prophet Elams in the retro event. But I got my opening hand here. My plan obviously is going to be free Han. This matchup, Prophet does not have another place to go to drain, since they can't drain and cause any damage unless Han is free. So that's really critical. The only damage I'm really able to do with this build is BB-8 on the front side, that is. So he's going to do his usual, pretty standard start from him, pretty standard start from me. He starts Proxima and Jabba V. I'll get one more alien out, and then he'll instantly get 2 Battle Destiny. Jabba will be immune to attrition. Um, and there's, we're going to build towards a big battle at the AC is what's going to happen. But I think both sides of this matchup know you don't want to overstep because you can be susceptible to a pretty quick beatdown, especially the light side with Battle Order First Strike. A lot of the funky evasion that Prophet usually runs are going to cost in battle, so it needs to have a good chunk of force to use all that, and then obviously it needs some force to get out all its characters. And obviously we're on the new interface here. This has now been in public beta for about a little over 3 weeks. It seems like it's yesterday, but still not even a month yet. And I know Eric and his team have been fine-tuning a lot of aspects of it since it's been in beta, public beta, I'll say. So he gets Rees out, and he knows that I usually have none, or maybe, most Prophets don't have any space, maybe a little token. So he's just not even, he's daring me to go there. Or not, he's not going to waste an extra card, put it that way, for getting that drain at Nalhutta and satisfying battle plan in. So he just puts Stinger there for cheap. He's got Scum out. I'm getting a couple locations out. I'm going to pull, I think 3PO here. No, Underworld Contacts with Seeking an Audience non-V, which ever since Rendezvous Point in Tatooine was made in set 11, I have not used the virtual Seeking Audience. I just find this one better because you get guys out a little cheaper. Underworld's a little activation. I'm going to put Antechamber out. I open hand a gift, which is helpful. And as you guys will see in the name of this episode, it plays a key part. But it's always nice to open hand that in a key matchup like Court, where I don't have to burn a defensive shield for it. So I just need more tools here. So I'm just going to build up my hand. I'm going to be taking a ping from Court, taking a ping from the system for a little bit. And as I keep drawing, I got R2 and projection and run Luke run and all this fun stuff. I could speed this up a little bit. We're, in this matchup, a lot of times it's just building for a big battle at the audience chamber, and whoever wins that generally wins the game. Or conversely, if light, as you guys will see in this game, if they can free Han via an alternative means, like someone who loves you, and I have Leia in my hand too, which is helpful, I can just kind of deal some minimal damage and reduce his and battle on my terms. So he gets Aura, EPP Aura Sing out, Zam Wessel, he pulls Coward, put Zuckuss up there just to be sure I don't have any surprise space. And I will then go to my deploy phase, look to get 3PO out. I still don't have 3PO out, so I missed on him, which is kind of a bummer, so I can't cycle my cards as much. But I have enough force here to do what I want. So this is nice that I pull Harksef in from use pile so he can mitigate the damage. From the audience chamber, once I run away, I satisfy Come Here, You Big Coward shield. I'm going to get Luke out, get another use pile pull, grab Anakin, and I'm going to free Han. Flip, retrieve a handful of force, only 3. Put Luke Saber out, and I got a pretty good force here. So, what Court used to run obviously was L's Hellrot, but there's been so many counters for that. It's not quite as popular, so I feel pretty good. Him not coming to attack me with 11 force, even with Scum. So I reduce the drain with Hark. I'm going to eat that 1. I'd be happy to trade drains of 2 and 1 with my objective for his just 1, and I'll just keep reducing this. So he's got Guri there, just I guess to prevent me from playing Neighborin or going back to the audience chamber. But he's covering up my damage, so we're equal here. We're both obviously on Tatooine. So I got to go through my turn, and obviously I don't have any answers really. Sorry about the mess. We'll see if that gets through for U-3P0 to kind of turn on my drains. So to play spoiler, I'm pretty sure I play that and it gets canceled. Court usually plays 1 or 2 bullets for Sorry About the Mess, or I guess more specifically for blaster proficiency. I ping him for 1, and then I'm going to not even use Sorry About the Mess because I probably just anticipate it. I think I must just know for some reason, or I don't want to burn it at this point when we're kind of trading equal damage. I'd rather save that mess for a more important time, or a time that I feel a little more comfortable. So, or maybe it's just a misplay, honestly. So I finally get 3PO out. I can start cycling cards here. I get Luke, who isn't too helpful. I have Leia in my hand, who isn't too helpful. I have Solo, who's just backup if he kills Han. Um, but yeah, I told a bunch of when this happened because I found it to be really interesting the fact that I was able to put a gift on U-3PO. I was trying to think of the best analogy for it. I don't know if the old mythical story of the Trojan horse with the Trojans and the Spartans and all that. I don't know if that analogy would quite fit. Of like U3PO going back in, but I think just because U3PO changes sides so frequently, and there I draw Corran Horn, who will be my way of getting rid of U3PO. So I think maybe what I do is the next turn I play mess and then it gets canceled. Like I said in all these episodes, I basically just do a run through just to make sure that replay doesn't break or get stuck on a revert or something like that. I'm not completely removed from what actually happens in this game. So he's going to drain me for 1. I'm going to start cycling. I got a pretty big hand now, 15 cards. Handful of things that I really want, handful of things I don't need. So 3PO obviously comes in handy to cycle those. And it was just Anthony Daniels' birthday a couple days ago, so we tweeted from the PC account, happy birthday, Anthony Daniels. Obviously 3PO. I'll never forget, I think I saw somewhere maybe on Facebook that Mike Gem, very, very good players, made a comment more or less that 3PO is like the most powerful character in the game. And he really is super strong. And you see a lot of really good players play him in decks that might not seem obvious. But that cycle ability is just so crucial. And then let me pause it real quick because another thing that kind of came up was that mechanic of just cycling cards from your hand to your life force and drawing. In the Premiere to Death Star 2 format, Janus Grigitus was really the first guy who did that. And then, obviously, Myrix Tarek came out in Reflections 2, who does something exactly the same as Janus. And then EPP Forlam Virtual does it, but he doesn't cost a force the way that Janus and Myrix do. And then obviously, of course, before EPP Forlam Virtual, 3PO came out in the Tatooine set. Tatooine came out after our Reflections 2. It was like May of 2001. And Reflections 2 was like January 2001. So that mechanic's just great. Lining up destinies, cycling cards you don't need. It's a great thing. So he puts another ship out, surprisingly, to Nal Hutta. Maybe he thought I was really changing up my ways and starting to bring in heavy space. But he's clearly not putting any aliens up there because, he knows I probably am going to get a gift out at some point, or am very likely going to. I didn't actually tell what's the phrase? Didn't convey it because I have to burn the shield, so he's just maybe assuming that I have it. Yeah, Janus and Myrix both cost a force. So here we go, my activate phase of my 4th turn. He's got a party at the AC. He's got 3 ships up there. I got a pretty nice hand here. I got a couple different ways to make sure Han sticks around. I guess I cycled Solo because I have Where's Han in case he were to get eliminated. I got BB-8 who I can start doing some direct damage. So I do direct damage with the objective. Now I'm going to check my destinies. Woof, those are bad. But I can redraw, 2 of them. And again, I'm not going to burn the mess. I guess I'd just rather have it for others, especially with Leia's gun. If he does come at me, I guess I'd rather have it for that. I'm not really feeling any pressure from him because we're both trading damage of 1. Now I'm going to be trading damage of 2 to 1. My life force is up a little bit. I'm at 24, 28, and here comes Corran. And I'm going to steal U-3PO here, which so often happens. And this is obviously a much better way. I think it's a better way than just trying to mess. Maybe that's what my thing is, because if I figure if I mess him, he'll just put out Dr. Chelli Afra and get him back, and then I just wasted a card. And all right, maybe I got a turn of damage through, but in the long run, I'd rather steal him than just kill him and let him get recurred. So again, I don't put out a gift. I guess I'm just slow playing. I'm taking the approach of this game of like, hey, the status quo favors me. Let me put the onus on him to kind of change the trajectory of it. And I just draw a million cards here. So now I'm up to 18. I got one of my favorite cards changing the odds. And now I'm all the way up to 19 cards in hand, 18 face down. And I feel pretty good that I'm now going to be draining for 2, ping for 1 with the BB-8, ping for 1 with the objective, and he's only going to be doing 1 damage. So again, this game was from like July of 2020. I might do another game today. It's actually a pretty slow day work-wise, so I try to do these episodes when I can. But I might not do it for another time. I think I haven't. I think I know what my next episode is going to be, but might want to double check it. So I'm just cycling the Where's Han to get Solo back out. He now knows he has to start forcing some more damage, so he gets Cad out. He now escapes into Forlom. He sees that obviously as a nice drain of 2 that I can't really Hark. I love Hark stuff in this deck because of Underworld Contacts he plays in. So like ISB can't reduce my drains because I have 2 aliens usually with Han and somebody else. So he can be one of them, or it can be Solo, or it can be Chewie, or usually run a couple others. I'm not sure if I was using General Jar Jar at this point. But I'm not too worried about this. I have projection of a Skywalker to bring it down by 1. And then, of course, I have a gift, which is just going to get rid of it completely. But, this matchup, Court has an answer for a gift, obviously. Usually multiple. It's got the Uta V to break the Undercover Spy's cover, or it's usually got Probot. And this is where I think this turn with R3PO, I kind of preempt Probot. All right, so I'm going to do my ping. With the objective, with BB-8, drain for 2 because of the lightsaber. And, I had another game about a year ago, a similar matchup where just kind of I was playing, dodge against Court. I just have played this matchup so many times that I know that it can quickly backfire if Prophet gets too aggressive. And I've definitely had a handful of games against jokerking where that's happened, where it's just like I go down, I don't have all the answers, I don't have the bullet for hidden weapons, or I don't have enough force to handle the counter beat with the battle order first strike. So sometimes it's just better to play it safe, which is what I'm going to be doing in this game. So I get R3PO out, just preempting Probot. So I figure, hey, if you're going to put Probot out there, I'm going to make you lose some force to my guy R3PO here, who just came up in a Gem PC top 16 matchup with CRG and Paul Myers. He's really good against ISB. He's really good nowadays because Imperial Decree V. Here goes a gift on U-3PO, and now we have our title of the show happen. So this just cracked me up that put a gift on U-3PO. And if you guys saw at the beginning with kind of the teaser with the meme, it's just Liam Neeson from Taken. Every game basically of Lightside has to deal with this guy. This guy from the first expansion, I guess, from 1996, has been a force and one of the most powerful characters of the game in some ways. There's just so many decks where Darkseid can just be like, hey, let me just throw U-3PO in here. And Lightside, 9 times out of 10 has an answer for it at the time they want the answer for it. But that's where then there's counterplay, like, again, imbalanced combo can cancel blaster proficiency. He's just a character. Literally a character, but also just a guy who finds his way into so many decks, and something that Lightside always has to account for. Like, there's about 10, 15 mechanics or characters or things that this game is so fun, but also you always have to keep in mind. So he gets it. So R3PO, he's a lot more powerful when Decree V is not as popular, because otherwise they can usually just reduce the drain. And he definitely just dies against like Vader Enforcer. But the key is, as Matt did in that game, CRG, he made sure that Vader was committed, and then he got R3PO out. So at the very least, he was forcing Paul to kind of move his caravan of ISP agents in order to make sure he avoided R3PO damage. And I don't know if he took full advantage of that, but he's a good character and a good meta call at certain times. Definitely classic. The other one is lower risk, more practical but lower variance. I figure he causes like 2 damage. I think he's a little better for Destiny or something, but I've always used regular. Picked that up from Johnny Chu's Prophet from a while ago. So here we go in the beginning of his turn 6. He now has a damage of just 1. I can reduce with Hark. I got a million cards in my hand. 3PO's hanging out at the dungeon. I'm not positive why I moved him there. Maybe I just didn't want him to get... I have no idea why I did that. So I'm continuing to cycle cards. I'm up a bunch. If we just kind of trade damage as is, I'm going to win. So he's going to change the trajectory of the game. He shows both his Git combos and Greedo with the Proxima check. Yeah, I think it'd be kind of cool to use the misprint R3PO in some live events, I should say. So he comes out with a bunch of characters, but it doesn't battle. It goes to his move phase, breaks the cover of U-3PO. And this was interesting because this was actually a bug that we detected, because he was given the opportunity to steal him. So that's what he did. I think we reverted, if I remember this. Yeah, because it says pretty clearly on him that only light side can use him as if stolen if his cover's broken. Let's see if this will work. Yeah, so his text is, if spy's cover is broken, the above game text is canceled, and light side may use as if stolen. But the way he was coded, dark side was actually able to steal him back, and probably not something that comes up too often, because how often is U-3P0 undercover for the light side in a game? So that was a good time. Now he moves all his guys over. He's probably kicking himself. I'm not sure what he was planning to accomplish here. I guess he's just, I got a force here of, Leia's gun and Luke and, so he just got everybody over there. But now I'm just going to move away, and he's just hoping I battle probably was the plan. But I'm just going to move away and use Hark, because I'll happily, pay 1 to reduce with Hark his drain. Take a drain of 1 and 1 as I'm, chipping away with BB-8 pings, profit pings, and the like. But I put out Obi. I'm going to recur a gift, and then I'm going to put a gift on another one of my droids. So I have 4 droids on the table. I guess 5, because I have U-3PO, R-3PO, 3PO, 3 protocol droids, plus BB-8, and man, I should have titled this The Time I Put 5 Droids on Table with Profit. So there's a lot of droids for light side right now. And I think I save R2 just because I don't have the force. I want to make sure I save one, so I can use it for a grabber, or if I need to have some interrupt in battle somehow. Yeah. So now I got more damage queued up. This is where maybe Ellis Hellrock comes in handy if he wants to move, but he probably anticipates people having cancelers or playing Insurrection. This was when No Idea was really popular. The other thing with this matchup is it can just kind of go like this back and forth. And I don't need to necessarily get him down to 0 before it's inevitable, because at some point you just run out of life force to draw your destinies for all your different tricks and all your weapons and the like. So I have obviously a lot of red cards here. I could cycle them if I wanted to or needed to, just get cards back in the life force. But I'm not afraid too much that he's using Monarch in this matchup. If he is, play around a little bit differently. So he puts Jodo out, and then I think he starts moving guys, or maybe he does move everybody over. So let me speed this up. He moves a bunch of people, not every single person, or not every single character. And again, he's probably just hoping I battle and some things happen that can go his way, but there's a lot of characters here. I guess this is a Doom stack, right? So I play Mess, he's got the Ceasefire. I have the Hear Me Baby to cancel it, and he's going to grab it. So that was a bunch of counters, and then he grabs Mess. Okay. He likes to play grabbers, which are really important, I think, in Court. He knows better than anybody since he plays Court a lot. So Greedo still dies, right? Yeah. And I got nothing. Clearly, I'm not going to battle. I don't know I think I put that Anakin there with 3PO because I'm just going to Nestlor and run away. Use my 1 force. This card's getting errata to be toned down a little bit. And then he concedes because, the way this board state is, I'm at 16 and 10, which is 26. He's at 11 and 8 is 19. So I'm up 7, and I'm going to be doing 1, 2. So I can move BB-8, and BB-8 does ping while undercover because he's with General Leia. That was a question I put on the rules form at one point. I wonder if this was the game that prompted that, but I just move everybody over there, and I'm going to just ping, drain for 2. I could reduce his drain. Actually, at this point, now we could finally get that drain at 2 through. Or no, I take that back, because I have a gift, obviously. So yeah, so this is just a 1, this is a 0, this is a 1. So it's 2 to 4, and he's just not going to be able to track me down to prevent that drain at 2, really. He can't just move these guys in front of me. He's probably got a lot of red in his hand since he has a lot of characters out. And that's the matchup. So this was fun. There's, like I said, there's a lot of these Prophet Court matchups in my history versus Joker King. He wins a good chunk of them. I win some. So that is episode 9. And I think we're going to be a little on the shorter side here. Yeah, so under 30 minutes. Some of these episodes go like 40, 45. But thanks for everyone for tuning in. Thank you for watching the replay if you do it that way. And then just, reminders at the beginning. sign up for the premiere to Dust Star 2 Retro event if you have not yet already, and check out the donor tier system for 2021 when you get a chance. It's on the forums, and then StarWarsCCG.org/donations. So check those things out, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.